Hello everyone, I am Dr. Deepa. Today we will learn about the intrinsic muscles of hand. There are about 20 intrinsic muscles in the hand. These intrinsic muscles are categorized into different groups like the thenar group of muscles, the hypothenar group of muscles, the lumbricals, palmar and the dorsal interosseous muscle. Out of this intrinsic group of muscles, we are going to study in detail about the thenar and the hypothenar group of muscles in today's video. Yes, out of the 20 intrinsic muscles, the thenar and the hypothenar group of muscles make up 8 in number. Yes, there are about 8 thenar and hypothenar group of muscles. So in today's video, we will look for the attachments, the nerve supply, actions of these thenar and hypothenar group of intrinsic muscles. Before moving on to the attachments of these muscles, it is important for us to know about the bones which come across in this area. Yes, this is the distal end of the radius over here and the distal end of the ulna. Here, the small bones which we are seeing is nothing but the carpal bones. As we all know, out of 8 carpal bones, the proximal 4 carpal bones which are named from lateral to medial are the scaphoid, the lunate, the triquetral and the pisiform bone. The distal row of carpal bones from lateral to medial are the trapezium, the trapezoid, the capitate and the hamate. So these are the carpal bones which are arranged in the 4 proximal row and 4 among the distal row. As we can notice here, the proximal row of carpal bones take part in formation of the wrist joint. Whereas the distal row of the carpal bones participate in the carpometacarpal joints. That is, they take part in articulating with the metacarpal bones, the base of the metacarpal bones. So moving on to the attachments of the thenar muscles. The thenar muscles are mainly 3 in number. Yes, there are about 3 thenar muscles. The 3 thenar muscles are, the very first is the abductor pollicis longus. The abductor pollicis longus, present along the ulnar border of the hand. The second is the flexor pollicis longus. Number 3 is the opponens pollicis. So these 3 make up the thenar group of muscles in the hand. The first is the abductor pollicis longus, the second is the flexor pollicis longus and the opponens pollicis. There is one adductor of the thumb which is very important, as this is the only adductor of the thumb present, that is the adductor pollicis muscle. So adductor pollicis is the adductor of the thumb. So this is about the thenar muscles. The hypothenar muscles are also 3 in number. That is, number 1 is the abductor digiti minimi. Number 1 is the abductor digiti minimi. Then comes the flexor digiti minimi and next is the opponens digiti minimi. Opponens digiti minimi reaching the ulnar border. Out of these 3 hypothenar muscles, there is one subcutaneous muscle which is called as the palmaris brevis. Yes, there is one subcutaneous muscle which is called as the palmaris brevis. Palmaris brevis, which is seen subcutaneously, which is seen along the subcutaneous plane, and this palmaris brevis makes up the 4th hypothenar muscle. It is also included in the hypothenar group of muscles, but it is subcutaneous in nature. So the 4 hypothenar muscles as a whole are the abductor digiti minimi, the flexor digiti minimi, and the opponens digiti minimi. And of course, the subcutaneous muscle, that is the palmaris brevis. So these are the names of the thenar muscles, the hypothenar muscles, and one adductor of the thumb, that is adductor pollicis. Now we will look onto the attachments of each muscle carefully. One common attachment, that is the origin of almost all the thenar and hypothenar muscle, is from the flexor retinaculum. Yes, the flexor retinaculum, which is covering the wrist, gives the origin to all the hypothenar and the thenar muscles from its medial and the lateral distal border. So all the muscles have the common origin from the flexor retinaculum. From the flexor retinaculum. So one by one, we'll just move on to the attachments. Firstly, the attachment of abductor pollicis brevis. The abductor pollicis brevis takes its origin from the flexor retinaculum. Then the lateral two carpal bones, that is the scaphoid and the trapezium. The scaphoid and the trapezium gives origin to the muscle, that is the abductor pollicis muscle. So from this point of origin, that is from the flexor retinaculum, the scaphoid and the trapezium, this abductor pollicis longus descends distally to reach the proximal phalanx, and it gets inserted onto the radial side of the proximal phalanx of the thumb over its palmar surface. So this is about the insertion of the muscle abductor pollicis. Moving on to the second muscle, that is the flexor pollicis brevis. This flexor pollicis brevis, as mentioned over here, has got two heads, that is the superficial head and the deep head. Yes, the flexor pollicis brevis has got two heads, the superficial and the deep head. The superficial head has got the origin in common with, that is from the flexor retinaculum. The superficial head takes its origin from the flexor retinaculum as well as the trapezium bone, which is present along the lateral side. Whereas the deep head takes its origin from the deep head takes its origin from the trapezoid bone. So this is about the attachment of the flexor pollicis brevis. From this superficial and the deep heads, the flexor pollicis brevis descends forward, that is it descends distally to reach the same point as that of the insertion of the abductor pollicis brevis, that is over the radial side of the base of the proximal phalanx on its palmar surface. Yes, the insertion of both the muscle, that is the abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis, is over the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb on its lateral side. So this is about the two thenar muscles, the abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis. The left over is the apponens pollicis. The apponens pollicis takes its origin from the flexor retinaculum as well as the trapezium bone. The trapezium, the crest of the trapezium and the flexor retinaculum gives attachment to the apponens pollicis. From this point of origin, the muscle is directed distally to end up in the metacarpal, that is the first metacarpal, the palmar surface of the first shaft of the first metacarpal. The palmar surface of the shaft of the first metacarpal on its radial side gives attachment or the insertion to the muscle apponens pollicis. So wherever the word apponens is represented, the apponens pollicis or the apponens digiti minimi. It may be any of the two. The pollicis or the digiti minimi reaches the insertion over the metacarpal. It has its insertion over the shaft of the corresponding metacarpal. So the insertion of the apponens pollicis is over the palmar surface of the shaft of the first metacarpal bone. So these are about the attachments of the thenar muscle. Moving on to the attachment of the adductor of the thumb, that is the adductor pollicis. This adductor pollicis has got two heads. The adductor pollicis has got two heads, that is the superficial or the transverse head and the oblique head. Yes, the two heads of the adductor pollicis are the transverse head and the the transverse head and the oblique head. The transverse head and the oblique head. The transverse head takes its origin from this part. As we can see, the shaft of the third metacarpal bone. The palmar surface of the shaft of the third metacarpal bone gives attachment to the transverse head of the adductor pollicis. I repeat, the palmar surface of the shaft of the third metacarpal bone gives attachment to the muscle, that is the adductor pollicis, whereas the oblique head of this adductor pollicis is taking its origin from the capitate and the trapezoid bone. The capitate and the trapezoid bone give attachment to the oblique head of the adductor pollicis. From the transverse head and the oblique head, the muscle fibers are directed laterally and they get inserted. The adductor pollicis gets inserted onto the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb, that is over the ulnar side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. The ulnar side or the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb receives the insertion of the adductor pollicis. So this is about the muscle adductor pollicis. So this is about the three thenar muscles and the adductor pollicis in total. Now moving on to the attachments of the hypothenar muscles here. The attachments of the hypothenar muscle. The first hypothenar muscle, that is the abductor digiti minimi, takes its attachment from the pisiform bone and the flexor retinaculum. The pisiform bone along with the flexor retinaculum gives origin to the fibers of abductor digiti minimi. The insertion of abductor digiti minimi is onto the ulnar side of the base of the fifth proximal phalanx of the little finger gives insertion to this abductor digiti minimi. Regarding the attachments of this flexor digiti minimi, the flexor digiti minimi is seen to take its origin from the flexor retinaculum number 1 and the hook of the hamate. Yes, the flexor retinaculum and the hamate gives attachment or the origin to the fibers of flexor digiti minimi. From this point of origin, the flexor digiti minimi has the insertion same as that of the abductor digiti minimi, that is over the ulnar side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the little finger of the fifth digit. So this is about the attachment of the flexor digiti minimi. Moving on to the opponents, that is the opponents digiti minimi. Yes, the opponents digiti minimi takes its origin from, as I have already told, origin from the flexor retinaculum and the hamate bone. The flexor retinaculum and the hook of the hamate gives attachment to the opponents digiti minimi. So this opponents digiti minimi gets inserted onto the shaft of the fifth metacarpal bone, the shaft of the fifth metacarpal bone. So there is a small printing mistake over here which I am going to correct over here. Now what we see here, this is the muscle flexor digiti minimi, and this muscle over here is the opponents digiti minimi. Yes, the insertion of the opponents digiti minimi is over, as I have told, it is over the shaft of the fifth metacarpal bone. The insertion of the opponents digiti minimi is over the shaft of the palmar surface of the ulnar half of the shaft of the fifth metacarpal. So this is about the opponents digiti minimi, whereas the flexor digiti minimi has its insertion along with the abductor digiti minimi onto the base of the proximal phalanx of the fifth finger. So this is about the digiti minimi, that is the abductor, flexor and the opponent's digiti minimi. Moving on to the subcutaneous muscle, that is the subcutaneous hypothenar muscle, that is the palmaris brevis. The palmaris brevis muscle is the muscle which runs horizontally, and it is the subcutaneous muscle seen over the hypothenar eminence. Now in this picture we can see this is the picture of showing the superficial palmar dissection. Now here is the hypothenar eminence, this is the hypothenar eminence, and here comes the thenar eminence. In the thenar eminence, as we have already discussed, the muscles which lie in the superficial plane are the abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis. Abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis. The abductor pollicis brevis is along the lateral plane, medial to which lies the flexor pollicis brevis. Deep to the abductor pollicis brevis is the opponent's pollicis. Now here is your palmar aponeurosis. Now what we see here, yes, what we see here, the fibers which are running horizontally or transversely make up the subcutaneous muscle, that is the palmaris brevis. This palmaris brevis takes its origin from the palmar aponeurosis. As we can see here, the palmaris brevis is taking origin from the palmar aponeurosis and getting inserted onto the dermis of the skin along its ulnar border, getting inserted over the dermis of the skin on its ulnar border, So this is about the muscle palmaris brevis. Now in this picture we can see about the thenar and hypothenar muscles, which has already been discussed. We can look for the abductor pollicis muscle, abductor pollicis brevis along the radial side. Medial to the abductor pollicis brevis is the flexor pollicis brevis. Now what we see here is the adductor pollicis. Deep to the abductor pollicis brevis lies the opponent's pollicis. Over the hypothenar side we can make out the abductor digiti minimi, the flexor digiti minimi, and deep to the abductor digiti minimi lies the opponent's digiti minimi. Remember one thing, the opponent's muscle, that is, it might be the opponent's digiti minimi or the opponent's pollicis brevis, lie in a deeper plane, that is, these opponent's muscle lie deep to the abductor muscles, that is, abductor pollicis brevis on the lateral side and the abductor digiti minimi along the ulnar side. Now here again is a dissected picture showing the thenar muscles and the hypothenar muscles. We can make out the flexor retinaculum here, which is acting as a common source of origin to the thenar and hypothenar muscles. Now this is the beautiful picture, easy picture showing the attachments of the adductor pollicis, as I have already discussed, the origin from two heads, that is the oblique head and the transverse head. The oblique head from the base of the second and the third metacarpal bones, whereas the transverse head from the shaft of the third metacarpal bone. The insertion is over the proximal phalanx, that is the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx. Now this is the dissected atlas view of the adductor pollicis, the transverse head and the oblique head reaching the proximal phalanx to its insertion. Now, as we have studied about the attachments of all the muscles, moving on to the nerve supply of the muscles, the nerve supply of all these muscles are mainly from the median and the ulnar nerve. The muscles, that is the muscles of the thenar group, are supplied by the deep branch of the median nerve, that is the abductor digiti minimi, the abductor pollicis brevis, the flexor pollicis brevis and the opponent's pollicis are supplied by the deep branch of the median nerve. The adductor pollicis muscle is supplied by the deep branch of the ulnar nerve. Remember, the adductor pollicis, that is the adductor of the thumb, is supplied by the deep branch of the ulnar nerve. The muscles of the thenar eminence, that is the abductor digiti minimi, the flexor digiti minimi, the opponens digiti minimi, and the subcutaneous muscle, the palmaris brevis, are all supplied by the ulnar nerve. Out of these muscles, the palmaris brevis is supplied by the superficial branch of the ulnar nerve, whereas the rest of the three hypothenar muscles is supplied by the deep branch of the ulnar nerve. Regarding the actions of all these muscles, the thenar muscles, that is, as the name itself says, abductor pollicis brevis, involved in the abduction of the thumb. The flexor pollicis brevis brings about flexion of the thumb. Opponens pollicis is mainly involved in the opposition of the thumb. The adductor pollicis brings about adduction of the thumb. The hypothenar muscles, the palmaris brevis, may be involved in maintaining the palmar grip. The rest of the three hypothenar muscle, that is abductor digiti minimi, is involved in the abduction of the little finger. The flexor digiti minimi brings about the flexion of the little finger. The opponens digiti minimi brings about the opposition. So all these are about the actions of these thenar and the hypothenar muscles. So this is about the end of the thenar and the hypothenar group of muscles. We will discuss about the lumbricals and the interosseous group of intrinsic muscles in our next video. Thank you.